Hey dear viewers and followers, I want to talk about the following. I want to talk about energy absorption and how the organic portals do that when around you and what type of things they use to do it, and that it's not only in one way that they can steal it from you guys. What I wanted to say is the following. When you have a aura, that's very strong, you vibrate different. And the thing it is, you might sometimes not see it because after a while you get used to it because, yeah, sometimes we can only people from the outside can see a certain thing that you don't see. And that's logical because, yeah, we are all in our own minds, and sometimes you can only look outwards. We can also look within, but from the exterior other eyes can will always see you different than you see yourself, if you get what I mean. And what happens is, guys, that sometimes, guys, you don't see it, but other people see like your potential, and what you're doing. And what I had also today in the library, I had a meeting with a colleague, because, yeah, I told you guys I don't like to meet a lot with organic portals, but hey, it's about my bread. I have things to pay, and the cost of living are high, so I have to do things sometimes I don't like. It is what it is. But anyhow, we were talking, and this woman was staring like for a good 5 minutes, staring at me. Also, it's not very polite to do, especially if I don't know you, but it's a thing you have on you that attracts people to you. And now I'm going to talk about the tactics and what type of organic portals you have and the tactics that they do. Like, if you are like a person that likes to take your times to do things, you don't like to rush, you're always, uh, pardon me, you're always in a peaceful mind, state of mind, and you like to take your time with things. The thing that happens most of the time, guys, I told you, when you hit 0 point, the matrix sends, because it's like a quantum computer, supercomputer. It sends a signal out, and you have to be disturbed one way or the other. And I've managed to find a few tactics to be able to counter that. I'm not gonna say it here. I'm not stupid, because then the matrix listens to you in real time. It adjusts. And I will not make it easy for them at all. Let me put it like that. But what I wanted to say is, like, you will have like an NPC come your way, and the person will like drain you the whole time. Want you to walk there, want you to walk there, want you to do that. Talk your ears off your head, monotone voice. Just suck the soul right out of you, and before you know it, you came like, let's say you came at 2 o'clock, you had an appointment with them. Around 5, you already feel like you've been walking for 40 years. And that's an energy drainer right there. And guys, I'm gonna give you personal experience with a narcissist I used to deal with. In the beginning, when I met the narcissist, the person was a little bit thin, was a little bit not looking too good, a little bit depressed. I started to see after a while the person began to gain weight, the skin started to rejuvenate, more life in the eyes, you know. And then somebody told me, but light bearer, pay attention. Haven't you noticed that this only happens when you are around her, the organic portal? Try to not speak to the narcissist for 2 weeks. You will see what happens. And it's true. After that, I disconnected for a small 2 3 weeks. I started to see that that person literally started getting that glassy-eyed, zombie look, like a doll. They look like a doll, these most of these organic parts. There's no soul. It's like two glassy buttons. And then I started to walk with her again, and I noticed again the same thing. I started to rejuvenate, give energy, and the person was stealing actually my identity. Because that person wasn't on high frequencies or meditating. When I started to talk about it and giving these persons, people tips, thinking that I could help them, not knowing they play games. So that's how organic portals roll. And now we haven't spoken to each other since June, May, June. Let's say June, almost a half a year ago. And I saw a picture, and the person looks unhappy, uh, doesn't look that beautiful anymore, thin, depressed, sad. And it's because you don't allow that certain person to tap your energy anymore. So guys, take this in account. And look, I'm very cautious and careful with my words, because I know that you have to be careful with nowadays what you utter. If you're someone dealing with depression and you desperately need to be sometimes with someone and you do not do well with always being alone, hey, then this is not really for you. I don't want to have it on my conscience that something happens to you due to advice that I gave you, you know? Do what suits for you. I'm just telling you that in a general sense, I rather be most of the time alone, even though it's also not easy for me, guys. I'm being very real on this one. Sometimes it is depressing as hell. But I rather be sometimes alone than to be with somebody who's not good for me just because I'm afraid to be alone. That's a no-go. Sorry, that's weak, you know. But if you're depressed or you're suicidal because of the fact that you're always alone and you can't handle it anymore, then don't listen to this. I don't want to have that on my conscience. I'm just trying to help you, you know. But do what works for you. I'm talking about me, and if it does resonate with you, hey, you can of course take my advice and put it in practice, you know. But you rejuvenate them, you that have a soul. Guys, don't be fooled by your eyes. You see only 10% because we're in this mortal body, but don't get it twisted. If you were to see 100% what was really happening, do you know that they can also, guys, your energy can also be tapped by the floor, by the ground. I've seen things they show you in anime is the truth. Why do you think, guys, use your brains, why do you think when you go out in nature and you go ground, you know, grounding there, sorry, grounding, you walk. How come if I'm there within 30 minutes I feel zen? You know why? Because we're one with nature. And you're walking there with your bare feet. I put my shoes off always in nature. Maybe in the winter or a lot of rain and mud, of course not. But in a general sense, I take my shoes off. And I literally feel that I'm being nurtured. And vice versa, because the trees also, when you reach out to them, you can notice that the leaves come your way, you know. Everything's a living organism here. You're not the only thing that breathes and lives. Well, what do you thought? Come on. So that shows me, guys, you cannot just be surrounded by everyone. And even me, gonna be very honest, sometimes, guys, sometimes I also struggle with loneliness. But I'm definitely not suicidal, never gonna commit suicide. Never, forget about it. And but sometimes I force myself. I say, no, light bear, stay alone in the house today. Sometimes I do go out and I think, no, I cannot be here for almost a whole week alone. I do associate, you know, I'm keeping it real. But sometimes I think, no, stay at home because you cannot, out of desperation, go call a soulless being, you know, energy drainer, just so you're not alone. Because you might as well be alone. Because at least when you're alone, the energy is better than being with a energy drainer. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys can do something with this advice, with this video. And I have to say it again before I close. If you are suicidal or you don't do well at all with being alone, not even one day, then don't listen to my advice. Listen to you. I don't want to make you do things that may cause you trouble. I don't want to have that on my conscience. I'm a person with a soul. I have emotion. I have empathy. Do it if it works for you. But to you guys or ladies who like this advice, please listen to it because they steal your energy, these organic portals. That's why they always want to be with you. It's not just for nothing. You have supernova energy, supernova aura. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't isolate yourself either, but don't be hanging around people just because you're afraid to be alone or just because you have to be with someone. Because sometimes being alone is more beneficial than being with somebody who's draining you of your life force. Be blessed. Bye bye.